Hello, I assume we're live. So, without further ado, nice to see you all, except I can't see you, but nice to see you all here. There's 9 of you here, so hello. This is my 4th live stream now, so this is my 3rd in 13 days, but I'll have a bit of a break after this one, okay? Anyway, apologies as well for it being Friday. Those of you, well, I assume we're all male to female, trannies or cross-dressers. There's 1 or 2 admirers out there, hello. But we can't always pick and choose the days that we want. Saturday is my preferred day because I have a few people in America or Canada that watch, and it's better for them as well. They may be at work. I've had a couple of emails from people saying I can't watch live tonight because I'm at work. It's 3:30 in New York and it'll be 12:30 in the afternoon in Los Angeles. So hopefully you can catch up later anyway. For those of you who haven't watched before, my name's Sarah. I'm male to female transvestite. I've been dressing in girls' clothes, my mum's clothes, since the age of 5. And I first went out in public about 12 years ago. I think it was about 2009. And I've been going out in public about twice a month, 3 times a month ever since. It's very difficult to stay indoors once you've been outside and had so much fun that we always do. Okay, this is my 4th live stream. I've done about 5 hours worth of live streaming now, so I thought I'd have a bit of a break after this one. I thought I'd take advantage of the fact that I've got a bit of spare time for a couple of weeks and do 3, and then I'd have a little bit of a break because I think I've covered most of the big stuff. I think I've covered. I'm going to talk about going out tonight, just briefly, and then we can do the usual question and answer session. Hello. I think I should have music to come on to. I did think about that, but you get problems with copyright and things like that. They can take the video down, and so I haven't bothered with that. I've even had copyright warnings when I've been walking around supermarkets and the music's been playing on the tannoy, the supermarket radio, and I've actually had warnings from YouTube saying you're using copyright material, and all it was just what was coming through on the tannoy. But I'll take your point, maybe next time. Hey Dan. Okay, got my notes. Ooh. Okay, so I think, as I said, this will be my last one for maybe 3 to 4 weeks. It was always going to be an experiment, the first couple, and I took advantage of time I've had off as well. So we've got 4, which, so we're at 5 hours now. Probably by the time we finish tonight, it'll be 6, 7 hours worth of live stream. Give me a chance to see what works, what doesn't work, what I'd like to change, what I wouldn't change, what I'd like to focus a bit more on, what I'll pull back from a bit more. So we'll have a break anyway, but as proof of concept, I think it's worked. We've had steady audiences live of about 20 to 30, around about 200 people come in and come out and come in and come out, and they get watched between 1,000 to 2,000 times in 2, 3, 4 weeks after after they've gone up. So I'm pretty pleased with that. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about going out. Okay, so we've covered quite a few things. We've covered makeup, and there's going to be a video of that coming out pretty soon. Probably give me a couple of weeks on that for the full male to female transformation makeup. We've covered many other things. I've talked about hair. I've told you my life story. Whereas tonight, I think I'm going to talk about actually going out in public. I think it's really rare. We'll never know how many boys, men like to cross-dress. And when I say cross-dress, does that mean wearing a pair of underwear once every 10 years and getting off on it? Or does it mean doing this and doing the whole thing and going out and trying to be a girl in public, present as a girl in public? Because it's very differently from one end to the other. I actually think that I think cross-dressing is really common, and we'll never know because you can't stand outside a supermarket with a clipboard asking random men, do you enjoy cross-dressing, sir? They're not going to be honest, and at the best, and they might get a bit narky with you at worst. So we're never going to know, but I would guess around about 1 in 3, I would suggest would probably get off on wearing off. I like the idea of it. But in terms of how many of those would actually do this and go out the front door, that's incredibly rare. Maybe 1 in every 50 cross-dressers. I don't know what you guys would think. Hi, Jeffers. Who's that girl would be good, yes. Hi, Ben. All fine. Live stream is good, but keep them a bit shorter, maybe. Well, you can always click off, Dan. It becomes a bit of a social event after the first sort of 10, 15, 20 minutes. So you're more than welcome to come and go as you please. Catch up later or not. It's up to you, Dan. But I appreciate you being here. And thanks for commenting. Right. So I reckon about 1 in 50 people who enjoy cross-dressing would actually take it to the extent of buying decent hair, dressing up, and walking out the front door. I mean, there's a comedian in England or the UK called Eddie Izzard, and he always says that I'm not convinced he's a proper tranny myself, but I think it's part of his act. But he always says you're not a proper tranny until you've actually been out the front door, walked to the corner shop and bought a Mars bar as a girl, which I've done many times, but it's not a bad definition. And the amount of girls that will actually do that, pretty rare, maybe 1 in 50. Why do you want to go out? I honestly don't think there's many of us don't have the fantasy ever since we first put on our mum's skirt when we were 5 or 6. I know I used to go to bed when I was 6, 7, 8. Sometimes wishing I'd wake up and be a girl, or wondering what it would be like just to go out for the day in a skirt and long hair. The fantasy's been there for as long as I can remember, since I was 7, since I was 8. So I'm sure we're all pretty similar, aren't we? So why go out? Because we want to, because our fantasy is there to do it, to go out. So few of us do. But second thing, as I mentioned last week, it's validation. If you're going to put an awful lot of time and effort into makeup, into hair, into dressing up, into watching things like this YouTube stream, all the videos that are all over YouTube these days, you want to. I want to go out. I want to test my look. I want to see how good I've done. I want to see how good my skill is. Can I walk past 50 people in broad daylight in the town centre and nobody bat an eyelid? That's what I want to do. And if they do bat an eyelid, if they do comment, then I know I've got a bit better. It's feedback as well. And once you've been out, you're never going to not go out again. It becomes, if I had a free day, but someone said to me, you can do whatever you want, but you cannot leave the house, I probably wouldn't even bother. I might practice with my makeup a little bit, but I certainly wouldn't bother doing the whole thing just to stand in front of a mirror and then jump in the shower. It's just not going to happen, is it? So there's 3 reasons, really. So if you do go out, though, you're rare. You're very brave to go out. It takes a lot of bravery to go out that front door. Certainly for the first time. Certainly for the first few times, and even more if you do get red. If you do have be made to feel uncomfortable, you're very, very, very brave to keep doing it. Because with the exception, the rule for male to female transvestites is to literally do what I said: is to dress up, stand in front of a mirror, and then jump in the shower and forget it ever happened. That's the general rule. So if you're going to go out, you're not unique, but you're in a very small minority. So if I can get one of you out who hasn't been out before, then maybe everything's worthwhile. But we'll try our best. Okay. So I think we've covered getting out of the house. It's never easy, particularly if you live with neighbours very close. Or I've got a neighbour across the road from me who's a stay-at-home car mechanic, and he's always outside the front of his house. He works very hard. He's always outside the front of his house 7 days a week, working on various cars and doing various things. So, trying to get out the house without him noticing can often be a bit of a, I don't worry about it anymore. I don't know if he knows or not, but he's never said anything to me. But if I know for a lot of people, it's not always that easy. I've said to you before, park your car out the way, for instance, if you're going to take the car. So, but we've covered that, I think. It's not easy, but there are ways around it. We've also covered, looks, done a bit on makeup, done a bit on hair. We've told you about movement, deportment, body language. It's incredibly important. That's what will get you read every time more than anything else. The clothes that you wear, be sensible. Don't wear silly clothes at silly times of day or night. in terms of how did I first start going out? Well, as I say, I first started dressing when I was about 5. And it wasn't until I was 28 or 29 that I first got out of the house uh, in girl mode. Um, I think my first memory, maybe just a little bit before that, I I didn't even have wig. I put this headscarf thing on. I put a skirt on, a jumper, some silly Mary Jane heels about this high. I don't know what happened to them. I think they were too small for me anyway. And then I went for a walk around the block. And fortunately, there was, this was like 1 o'clock in the morning. Fortunately, there was nobody there to see me. I must have looked absolutely ridiculous. But in terms of the first time I ever went out the house as a girl, or probably looking like a man, but in my head was probably around 20 years ago. But I remember going out for a drive around about 2004 with a very bad sort of comedy wig on, and the amount of nerves I felt, it seems silly looking back on it now, but I actually had this kind of ridiculous wig and bad makeup and a skirt and black sheer tights, and I think I was wearing trainers because I didn't have any female shoes. That was about 2004, and I was so nervous, literally driving around the streets. Um, and this is when I lived in Scotland, and Perth in Scotland. It was completely deserted, but I've never felt so nervous in all my life. Looking back now, it seems ridiculous because I don't think I even saw anybody. So I certainly didn't see me. It was around about 2006 when I bought that first half decent wig. It wasn't a Rene of Paris. It wasn't a real one that you'd invest, 200, 300 pounds. It was about 70, 80 pound, about $80, $90 type of wig. That was probably 2006. And I do remember putting it on, putting bad makeup on, standing outside the front. I was living in a rented flat, which was set back at that time. So I could leave the flat without being seen and stand on the corner. And I stood on the corner, sort of furtively smoking. There was no electronic cigarettes in those days, for about 3 minutes, wearing bad stuff, but nobody came by. And then the next time there was this story, I think that I go back to when I talked about the pink mist. It was around about that time that I got the pink mist, which is a kind of mental state of mind whereby you kid yourself into thinking you look brilliant, that you're going to pass. Because I don't know what it is, whether it's the excitement or whatever it is, but you absolutely kid yourself that you look so much better than you do. And that was the time when I ran into problems because I was wearing these 3-inch heels, again, probably too small for me. I was wearing this knee-length skirt, black sheer tights, this really cheap white top, and boobs that were kind of odd shaped. And I was wearing this really, really long blonde wig that cost me peanuts off the internet. I thought I looked absolutely brilliant. And I thought, this is it. I've cracked it. I can go out as a girl anytime I like now, and no one will ever notice. And within about 3 minutes, the first taxi driver that came past let me know exactly what I looked like, and that wasn't very good. But in some ways, it was good that it jolted me back to reality, and it showed me and taught me that this isn't the way to approach this. Back on the internet, lots more kind of reading of other people's opinions, dress down, walk this way, don't go there, don't do that. And it got better. Invested more in hair, and it got better. What I used to do after that, when I got my first decent wig, that set me back. That incident set me back good 18 months, I would suggest. Now, what I did, what really got my confidence up, and I wouldn't advise you to do this if you want to go out, but what got my confidence up was, in the UK, it gets dark about 4 o'clock in sort of December, January. And I used to go out for walks. I used to wait for it to get dark. And then I used to go out for walks in girl mode, half decent hair. The walking was starting to come, dressing down, and I'd set myself a target. The first few times I was really nervous. I would, you don't walk on the opposite the traffic, walk on the other side of the road so you don't get caught in someone's full beam. And if I saw someone coming down the street, I would pretend to be lost and turn around and all this kind of stuff. So the first few times I went out, I was pretty nervous, and And eventually, I ended up walking past people. I sort of forced myself to walk past people. I can still remember the first time I ever walked past somebody in girl mode. I can still remember her face. This is about maybe 12, 13 years ago. And she didn't bat an eyelid. And my confidence sort of went from here to here. It was pretty amazing. And I was away then. I used to go out once or twice, sort of wait for it to get dark, go out, and I'd set myself a target. I would set myself a target of walking past, say, 20 people. And then I'd set myself a target of walking past 50 people. And it worked really, really well. My confidence went right through the roof. Now, would I advise you to do that? Well, it's difficult because, I was wearing girly clothes, sexy clothes. Sometimes I would wait until it was 8 or 9 o'clock at night before I did it. The mere fact that I was out wearing girly clothes at 5'10" after sort of 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, you're not going to hide away. You were going to attract attention because women wouldn't do that. And it was good for me. That's really what got me started, was those night walks, walking past people at night and doing really well. But would I advise that for you? It's up to you. It's not the best way, but it's not the worst way. Women wouldn't walk around. I used to do this in January on a Sunday night, wearing sheer stockings and a knee-length skirt. Women just don't do that. So the mere fact I was doing that was marking me out. But on the flip side, I walked past loads of people who didn't have a problem, and my confidence went right up. And that's probably what really got me started going out. So the next step was probably when I started going out in the daylight for the first time. I went to the shops. I think I've mentioned this before, that I went to a large shop in the UK called Boots. It was a very sort of big, it's like a pharmacy stroke sort of medicine type place. Someone keeps trying to text me, sorry. I think it's okay, Pen, we can do that later. And I can remember this was the first time I was ever out, apart from the aborted attempts a couple of years before. I went to Boots, and it was one of those out of town shopping centres where you park in the middle and the shops are all around the outside. And I can remember sitting in the car for about 2 hours because I was just too nervous to get out of the car. And I kept on waiting because I knew where I was going. I wanted to walk in that front entrance of Boots. And I kept waiting for people to disappear, but it was a busy afternoon, and they kept on coming, and I kept getting more and more annoyed. And in the end, I got so fed up, I just got out of the car and walked straight into the shop, and nobody batted an eyelid. So, and then once I got in there, I was still nervous. I probably looked very, very dodgy. You have to understand, when you go into these kind of shops, the people who work in them, the security guards, the ladies behind the counter, the people looking on the CCTV, they're kind of trained to pick up on your nervous behavior for shoplifting. And I must have looked just like that, because I was constantly looking around and pretending to pretending to look at my face for makeup. So, but nobody read me. Well, maybe they did, but they didn't make it obvious. That was probably the first time I ever went out in daylight. But that, paradoxically, even though it's a bit more uncomfortable because it's daytime, because there's other people around, is a lot more safer than probably what I did, which was walk around those streets for a year or two after dark, because it's just not really normal behaviour. About 4 or 5 o'clock, you're probably okay because people are coming back from work and everything like that. But I used to go out 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night on a Sunday. And so when you set yourself a target of 50 people, it takes a long time to go past 50 people on a cold, wet January Sunday night. So I'd often be out for 2 or 3 hours. But it gave me a good start. And that first ever outing was to Boots. And it just snowballed, really. I think I was there 15, 20 minutes. And then you get more and more kind of, well, I can do this. That worked. And then you start. What I would advise, if you do go to the shop for the first time, and I would advise you to do that, really, up to you. But if you do go to the shop for the first time, go with a plan. All right. What I mean by plan, go there to buy something. Okay. Go there with a shopping list because then you look more natural. If you just walk into the shop and, there's always a security guard on the front and you worry about, oh, you've got to get out of the car first. And then you worry about walking past the security guard. And once you've done that, you're okay because you can then look at the shelves. No one can really look at you. But my advice would be to go somewhere like that and go with a shopping list. Okay. So you don't look furtive. Go there and you're deliberately trying to buy stuff. Now, someone like Boots as well, if you go to the makeup area, they always have those girls on the makeup counters who will always look you up and down as well. So maybe try and keep away from them to start anyway. I've interacted with them. I'm a bit of a cheapskate. I don't tend to buy all the Revlon makeup and everything like that. So you can start by walking after dark if if that helps. Probably wouldn't. Maybe I would advise. Maybe I wouldn't. Obviously, women wouldn't do that, but we, as I said to you before, it's about the mindset, isn't it? As well, we often have a man's mindset about places where we go and what we do, but women don't. Maybe you could try someone like Boots, someone like where I did. Bookshops are good places, but there's not many of them left. So if you're kind of you can stare, you can spend a lot of time in a bookshop and you can stare and you can look down in a book. So that's a good place to go. Cafes aren't too bad, but sometimes you have to stand and queue up for quite a while and people might start checking you out. Restaurants, there's always a problem where you have to start by standing at the front and everyone checks out who's coming into the restaurant and you're also sitting down for maybe 2 or 3 hours. So maybe that's something you want to do a bit later on once you've got your confidence up, once you've got your look up. These are all things that you can do. And I've gone well off script now as well. But it just, after that first Boots trip, I started, going out more. I started to move between shops. I started to walk out the shop and walk along 50 yards and walk to the next shop. Hardware stores are good places that, but they're not really female places in the sense of sort of the power tools or the paint. That tends to be more sort of tradesmen and things like that. But you can always go there and look at the wallpaper. You can always go there and look at the pictures that they sell or the full-length mirrors. And Hardware is quite good for that because they have full-length mirrors that you can look into, and you can check all your stuff as well and look like you're maybe not look too secretive doing that. But yeah, if you're out on the street at night, you're more likely to get hassle, I think. Well, that's where the very few occasions I've had hassle have all been out after dark on the street because generally it tends to be you and the other person. Yeah, and they often, if it's not too busy, particularly as it might be after dark, they've got a lot of time to line you up, to look at you and to see it. Whereas if you go to a shop, which is a bit busier, then people aren't really paying attention to other people. And, if you do get hassle, you're in a business, you're a customer. The staff have training on trans people. The power is with you. If you get hassle, you're on the right side. They'll protect you. Yeah, the security guard will protect you. The ladies behind the counter will protect you. Other people may well protect you as well. So that's another reason perhaps to try something like that rather than do what I did and do the secret walks around the block at midnight, wearing silly clothes. But that's how I started anyway. And then segment from sometimes I prefer the out of town shopping centres because there's less distance to walk to the shops. If you go to the sort of in town multi-story ones, you may find you've got to walk quite a distance from parking your car to the shops. You might have to get into a lift with some teenage girls. You might have to, go up and down some stairs. And I don't know where sort of you're all living, or I'm sure most of you, if you haven't been out, have all got plans in your brain of what you'd love to do. Excuse me a sec, I've got a bit of a itchy eye. Right. So I mentioned this about joining. You could join a T-girl group to start if you wanted to get out. There are trans-friendly clubs and bars. There's plenty of groups in most big cities, particularly in the UK, and I'm sure in the US these days. That's one way to start. I started I went out first and then I joined the group. But I didn't really like being one of the girls. We'd go to a gay club and a gay pub, and then I didn't really want to be stuck in the corner with 10 other trannies. I just wanted to be out and try and get the full female experience, people thinking and treating me as if I was female. So, but that's another option. But I'm sure we'd all rather just go out and do what girls do rather than sort of, do something like that. Okay, so I say avoid going out at night alone more, maybe not, up to you, but that's where the problems do tend to come. It's just you and one, or just you and another person or group of people. Whereas if you're out in public with other people around in a shop, something like that, you're less likely to have any problems. Okay. Park close say park close if you can. And one of the advantages of the indoor multi-story car parks, you don't have to walk to the shop and get your hair destroyed everywhere by the wind. So try and park as close as you can to the store. That might help, particularly if it's windy. Hardware stores, done that. Supermarkets are good places. I tend to go to them a lot because I film, and it's easy just to put my phone in my bag, and then as I'm walking around, I can film myself. That's why most of my videos are done in supermarkets. I do need to get out a bit more and do more filming, but without someone else filming, it's not always that easy. So yeah, try and be confident when you go out. I know it's not easy. I know your heart will be absolutely racing the first or the second or the third time you go out, or after you've had, after you've been read and had your confidence knocked. Try and be confident, because that furtive behaviour will actually feed back on itself. The more furtive and the more nervous that you get, the more likely you are for people to start noticing and making you feel uncomfortable, and then you get into a negative feedback loop. But once your confidence goes, you'll go better and better and better. So there you go. Okay. I mean, it is inevitable that you are going to get red, I think, unless you're really blessed in terms of your body shape, your facial features. I think it is inevitable that you are going to get red. You can't control that. Well, you can to a certain degree by getting better, but you can control how you react to that. So it's easy for me to say, don't let it get you down, because it is going to happen, and it happened to me all the time, and it does get me down, particularly all the effort that you put in. But you've really got to try and see it as an occupational hazard, really. That if you want, the beauty of going out, looking in the women's underwear section or the hosiery section, walking around the supermarket, feeling your skirt swishing around your sheer stocking legs, feeling your hair, your boobs bouncing as you walk. If you want all that, if you want the beauty of that and the happiness that brings, and it does bring a massive amount of happiness to me, and I'm sure to you, it is an occupational hazard, but it's how you react to that. You should react to it really as I wouldn't say resign, but it's going to happen. So you've got to put it out of your mind, and you've got to think of the 999 people out of 1,000 that didn't seem to notice. And you've also got to vow to be, well, sit down and think about it later on. Why did I get red more today than I did last time? Was it the hair? Was it the way I was walking? Was it what I was wearing? And get better, because that's how I did it. Unfortunately, it can be a bit of a solitary occupation, what we do. The friends and family that will be happy to take you out all the time are pretty few and far between. So, you're on your own for a lot of this. But there you go. Okay. It's interesting because when you think you've been read, sometimes you haven't. And when you think you're past someone, sometimes you haven't either. Because I do remember years ago that we used to go and watch a football team, and the last match of the season was an away game. And the last match of the season was traditionally fancy dress. You'd go in costume. And I decided not to bother, which was a complete wasted opportunity. I was about 15 or 16 at the time. And one of my friends thought it would be a great idea to wear his sister's school uniform. and one of these ridiculous pink punk sort of style, going back to when I was a bit of a kid, a Toya Wilcox type punk hairdo. And he looked absolutely ridiculous, but that was the whole point. And then we stopped off at a motorway service station, and I think there was I don't know if it was a McDonald's there, or there was a queue for a cafe or something. And he was two in front of me, and there was two old ladies behind me, and I was two others behind him, and I was behind them. And I heard them talking. I mean, he just looked ridiculous. I don't think he'd even bothered to shave. And I heard them saying, they said, "Oh, doesn't she look awful? I wonder what her mother must think of her." So, you know, even if you don't look the greatest, you're still going to pass to a lot of people, because a lot of people they're just not expecting. They don't go out their front door expecting to see you, to see a transvestite. They just don't, you know. But don't let it get you down. And certainly the benefits of being out there, the joy that it brings, far outweigh one or two negative experiences that you might have. But you are going to get red. But say it's one of those things. But start slow. Maybe avoid the night walks. But it's up to you. It worked for me. Go somewhere public that's not too busy, but neither is it too empty, so that the staff and have got nothing else to focus on but you. And try and just go in with a plan. Try and pay attention to the way you're walking. And even if you only go in for 5 or 10 minutes, next time go in for 10 or 15 minutes. Next time go in for a bit longer. Next time go to the shop next door. Next time interact with the lady behind the counter. Go and buy something from behind the counter. And you'll find you'll do absolutely fine. I still get nervous. It'll never stop. I'm still a bit hesitant to speak to people in girl mode sometimes. My voice isn't brilliant as a girl. But there's many places you can go, say bookshops, supermarkets, like Boots, hardware stores, plenty of places, and just build on it from there. But you've got to do the hard work first. You've got to spend the right money. You've got to work on your makeup. You've got to do your research. You've got to watch people like me and go on the internet and do your background research. Dress down to start. Okay, look at other women in the street. They don't wear black stockings and high heels when they go to the local shop, do they? So you can wear whatever you want underneath, and over time you can start building it up and building it up. If you really are nervous, there's the opportunity to join a local group. You can go to gay bars, trans-friendly places to start building it up, and then from then you can start going elsewhere. But start slow. Don't get the pink mist, okay? No, none of us, unless we're really blessed, can just put on a wig, slap on a bit of mascara, and off you go and be absolutely fine. You've got to work at it as well. Start slow, work at it really hard, and see how you go. Because unless you try, you're never going to know, are you? Yeah? Right. I think I've come to the end of the notes. Solitary occupation. We're usually on our own. Getting ready is an occupational hazard. Start simple. Work hard. Spend good money. Dress down. Go somewhere reasonably busy, but not too busy. And cinemas are good places. You can buy your tickets in advance. You get one of those QR codes on your phone. The only interaction you'll have really with the person that's standing guarding the entrance to the actual screen. Obviously, you might have to walk in there, but you could choose a film that's not that popular. And then you can sit there in the dark, enjoying wearing girls' clothes, and you can enjoy the film as well. You can turn up early so no one sees you come in, but they won't be that interested in you. And you can wait till the end until you go. Restaurants are okay. I've been out with my mum to the restaurant a few times. The only problem is she kept on calling me by my boy's name, so it didn't go down too well. Well, not with me. No one else was listening, but yeah. And from then, it probably took me a good couple of years before I was comfortable with walking through a town centre in broad daylight. But I've done that so many times now. If you'd have said to me I'd done what I've done in girl mode 15 years ago, I never would have believed it possible. 15 years ago, my ambition was to literally walk around the block in girl mode. And now, walk through town centres without really any problems at all. And the only problems I've really ever had have been I've made the mistakes. I've brought it. I mean, I should never have. I've kind of brought it on myself by wearing silly clothes, being out at silly times, not paying attention to the way I was walking. So there you go. Right. Okay. I think that's it. Okay, well, I'm going to catch up with your comments now because I've been ignoring them. So sorry, I don't mean to ignore them, but it's difficult to kind of talk and answer comments at the same time. That took 35 minutes. I think it would take that long. There you go. So I think we got up to Dan saying I was going on for too long. Sorry, Dan. Eddie has come out as trans. You mean Eddie Izzard? Has he? I don't know. I just find him a bit. It's part of his act, isn't it? I find it difficult to believe. I don't know. I don't know much about him, apart from the fact that he is trans. I don't watch his comedy or anything like that. I mean, I could come out as trans, but it wouldn't change it. I'm quite happy being a boy 90% of the time and getting the girl as and when I like it. So I still think it's part of his act more than the fact that I couldn't really imagine him sort of really making the effort. He almost seems to enjoy the fact that he doesn't pass. For me, it's all about trying to pass. And even if I fall short, I always try to pass. But for me, I think he sort of goes halfway and kind of enjoys wearing nail polish and pink hair and lipstick. And that's about it. But that just wouldn't do it for me. It's up to him, isn't it, at the end of the day? Nice to see you, Jane. Nice to see you back as well in Sweden. It's good to see you here on a Friday anyway. So I do know we're probably missing about 5 or 10 people tonight because they probably got to work over in the States. Do you think if you were with real girls, you would still stand out? Also, if you were on the arm of a man, would that help with fitting in? Probably. I said to you last week about Sarah and boys. I look at it as an accessory, as the ultimate male to female accessory. Yeah, I'm sure it would help me fit in and pass. Yeah, definitely holding hands or having his arm around me. I'm sure, but I look at it as an accessory rather than anything more than that. If I was with real girls, would I still? I've done this before, actually, maybe about 10 years ago. This happened a few times, actually. I've gone to the pub and I've been the last one left, and we've kind of got mixed up with groups of other girls, and they said come to the bar across the road with us, and I've done that. And I'm sure it did help with the passing. A group of girls. She looks a bit manly, but she's with all the other girls. Whereas if I was with a group of trannies, some better than others, I'm sure I would stick out a lot more, obviously. So yeah, I always wonder, doesn't anyone ever try nicking the camera when you leave it set up? Not so far. There is a problem with it though, because I need to put it in my bag and put it on the front of the trolley, but then I need to walk away so that I get caught in the film. So on many occasions, the shop assistants will start shouting at me for leaving my bag, or other good Samaritans will come up to me and say, "Oh, is this your bag?" And, "Oh, I wouldn't do that. One of my friends had a bag stolen," and all that. So I don't really know what any other way to do it, particularly because part of my videos is the interaction as well. I enjoy the interaction of being out as a girl, walking around people, walking right past people, and I think that's part of the attraction of the videos, to encourage other people that if you make the effort and go out and walk past people, they're not going to stop, and you can pass. People really don't take much notice of unless you give them a reason to. So yeah, it's not always, but no one's stolen it yet, fortunately. I always try and keep an eye on it. I don't really turn my I do sometimes, but I try not to turn my back onto it for too long. So, Jane, are you out often in shops under this pandemic? You look very confident when you walk in your clips. Are you feeling safe when you're in clips? Yeah. Oh, thank you, Jeffers. I'll come to you in a minute, but thank you very much. Yeah, I don't. I'm not frightened. You know, I'm not. I'm not somebody who's really at risk at all. So it doesn't bother me to go out. I go to the shops, buy some food or whatever it is, and keep walking around. You do what you do, but no, I'm not bothered. I'm not scared at all of the current thing that's going around. So no, it has been. I mean, this isn't really a. I don't wish to sound like this is all about me, but going out. I've been out twice in the last few days, and I've got videos of the last few days. I've got videos of me wearing these. But because I'm wearing this mask, it doesn't really make great footage, which is. But as I say, I'm not moaning given what other things are happening in the world. The fact that Sarah can't get decent videos for a YouTube channel because she's got to wear a mask. How dare you? I'm certainly not saying that at all. But uh, that's the only kind of it is a bit of a downer. I like to shoot interacting videos when I'm out amongst people walking around them. I mean, I could start going out like I have done. I've shot videos in graveyards and by churches and by the riverfront. I could start doing that a bit more, but then you wouldn't get the other people around. So, but I do plan on doing that. Um, Trying to do a bit more, maybe summery stuff and be out and about. So. Yeah, I mean, confidence is a very fragile thing. The longer you're out, and the better you go, the more people you walk past, the better you get. And the better you get, the better you get. It's a positive feedback. But paradoxically, I've been out and I've been stared at or double taped by the first person I've walked, and it's kind of destroyed it already. So it's quite a fragile thing. You've got to try and be confident, even if you don't feel confident. I do. I still lose my confidence even now. It still can take me half an hour to walk out the front door, even now. So, and even like 10 years ago when I didn't look, there are much better looking girls on YouTube than me. But, excuse me. Um, but even 10 years ago, I didn't look as good as I do now, perhaps. I did fine, absolutely fine. No problems, barely any problems. And but even now when I'm looking better, I've got better hair, better movements. Even now I still get nervous. So confidence comes and goes. But if you're not confident, you're always going to struggle because it will just feed back into your whole body language. Your makeup is on point tonight, isn't it? Do you think so? I did the contouring again, like I mentioned. I think was it Saturday. You can probably just make it out. It's not the best webcam. Here, across here, here. Usually you can put them on your temples as well, a bit of dark on your temples, and some people do it across here as well to shrink the face. Put it across your chin to try and cut the angle of your jaw out. This is just fresh coloured pencil. The usual mascara. I used the actual eyebrow tongs for the first time in a while. And they do make a difference. I don't think you can see that. It's a bit clumpy in the corner, but they do make your eyelashes look much more feminine. So whoever pointed me to eyelash tongs last week, I tried them this week, and yeah, I'm sold again on them. The first time I tried, I actually sort of pinched my eyelid, and it sort of put me off. So thank you very much. Very good tips you give. Try my best. Try my best. Hi, Jeffers. Thank you very much, Jeffers. It's very kind of you to give me another tenner, because is that the fourth time you've given me something, or third time? That's really kind of you. It does make a big difference to gives me a bit more encouragement to keep going, to keep making the videos, because I don't, going out, I can't keep going out to supermarkets, can't keep making videos doing the same thing, or perhaps I can. So we've got the one of me wearing these heels to come, but on the flip side, it is masked. So But I will upload it probably in the next week. So I've got 2 videos. I'll probably mix the 2. I don't know if you saw my promo video of me wearing the red. I think the outfit I wore last weekend, the red top and the red flowery skirt. Well, I was wearing that, I think, on about Wednesday, and I wore the heels yesterday. I mean, but thank you, Jeffers. It's interesting because I haven't really worn heels before, apart from very ones that are very too small for me, and on very small trips or walking around up and down in the house. Actually, wasn't too difficult. I mean, they're only 2 inches. I did notice on the video that I did look a bit more taller than I was comfortable with. I mean, 5'9", 5'10" isn't the end of the world, but it was up about 6'6", but I did look considerably taller than anyone else that was in there, including the men. But nobody noticed. Nobody, didn't make any difference to the way people were treating me or responding to me. So I will have to try and wear them again. But I didn't wear them I had to walk about 500 yards through Liverpool city centre, and it's not that busy at the moment. But I wore my flats, and when I got into the shop, I sat down by the shoes and put the heels on, and then walked into the supermarket and started walking around the aisles. But it went okay. And when I first walked into the actual open entrance, I almost fell over, but no one was watching. I literally started to go, whoop. But once I'd stopped, took it slowly, it started to come. So I don't know if anyone's actually got a bit more experience in wearing heels, but yeah, they looked okay. I could walk in them okay. I say maybe a little bit higher, maybe a little bit taller than I was comfortable with. But I'll upload the video and you can tell me what you think. Thanks, Jeffers. It's a night from me. Early start for me for work tomorrow. Okay. I will keep on flirting via email. You keep flirting, Jeffers. Enjoy your break from live streaming. Looking very nice. Oh, thank you very much, darling. It's very kind of you. Yeah, this hair's kind of been gathering dust for about 7 or 8 years because of the colour. I like the style. I think it suits me, but I think the colour's just too noticeable. It's kind of something that I would wear when you're 25 rather than, when you're my age. I did go to the shop and bought exactly the same, but in a sort of darker blonde. But it just didn't suit me for some reason. I don't know why. So I ended up exchanging it for something else. But maybe I should try that again. Maybe get a darker one. Or Bob. But yeah, good night, Jeffers, and thank you very much. And you keep flirting, darling. Jane, yes, I feel the same as you. I am better now out and walk in open places. Daylight and feel good. Better wigs and smart shoes and nice comfort. Yeah, I mean, when I first started uploading the videos, I had a mixture of, I think I still do get a mixture of admirers and a mixture of other T-girls. And all the admirers kept on sending me messages, heels next, heels next. And I personally prefer flats. If you're going to go out for quite a long time, we're talking hours, then I think flats are just much more practical. There's a reason why girls don't wear heels really, apart from Saturday nights, because you notice this when you become a girl for a long period of time. When you go out a lot, you suddenly start going through the same thought processes as girls. You start wearing tights instead of stockings. You start wearing flats instead of heels. You start dressing down rather than sort of dressed up as if you're going out on a Saturday night, or so. But yeah, at least I tried the heels, and I will definitely do a few videos of me wearing them. But I don't think I would last more than half an hour in them, maybe an hour. They are beginning, the size 8 ones I bought, and they are beginning to mould to my size 9 feet. So thank you to everyone who donated in the last few weeks. It's very kind of you as well. So, because you bought those. I think you've seen the picture of the 3 sets of shoes that I bought. So there's ones with open toes, which are more for the summer. There's the real classic stiletto ones that I've got, but they're probably a little bit too small. I certainly don't think I could manage to wear them out. But they're more for the kind of modeling lingerie type videos that I'm planning on doing. And then there's these ones, which I think will be probably the ones I'll wear for heeled out and about videos in public anyway. So thank you very much. I think Penny wanted a flash of something, didn't you? Do you want a flash of this? Don't want to get in trouble for flashing again. A flash of this. Ooh. There you go. Is that good enough? They're a bit out of fashion now, petticoats, but I like them. I find them really girly and dainty. You know, I think they're part of the full underwear, top, petticoat, underwear, bra. You can wear suspender belt as well. I've got hold ups on tonight. So, but wear more of a summery skirt as well, because this is things get a bit warmer. We'll try and go a bit more summery. My male jeans, let's get them out of the way. Okay. Good makeup as always. I've done the same makeup now for a long time. I've started the contouring, the brown lines as an experiment, and I think it works okay, particularly with glasses. Bigger glasses will hide the contour lines. So it's okay. I still think I look better with glasses. I'm surprised Barbara's not here tonight. She's usually sending me a message. Are you there, Barbara? No? Okay. Well, okay. For those of you who've sort of been following my live streams, I've actually been away to do some work, to get away to a sort of quiet environment, to do some work. And I had all these plans to go out Sarah every day. And I did. The first 5 days I did do Sarah 5 days in a row. And I did plan on going out a bit more. But the first 4 or 5 days, the weather was just terrible. And wind is an absolute killer. And the other thing is I'm in the centre of town. And at the moment, there isn't much to do. I can't keep going back to Marks and Spencer's or to Boots or someone like that. I can't just keep that. That's literally it. Go and get a coffee, but I can't go and sit in and drink it. I can take it away. So it hasn't been as great as I'd expected. The other thing that happens is because we have to shave really, really close. After about 4 days, my skin was really starting to hurt. And I've told you before that I actually pluck my hair. But when you get up to about 7, 8, 9, 10 days, your actual hair starts to grow back again. The ones that you've plucked before actually starts to grow back. So that good sort of look that you get, you start getting the bubbles again. It doesn't matter how close you shave, you end up taking off so much of your skin and it doesn't make any more difference. You can't shave any closer because you've taken off without damaging your face. So say had 5 days as girl mode, didn't get much done because of the weather. I had to do some work as well. And then I had to break for a day or two because of the damage to my face. As it's only the last 2 or 3 days I've actually managed to get out and film, but I do have a couple of films to upload. I've got the how-to series, which I think I've shown you the pictures that I did as proof of concept. But I want to do that a lot better. So we'll start right from sort of shaving, moisturizing. Make sure you moisturize, because I forgot to moisturize the other day. And then I wondered why my foundation was streaking and wasn't going on properly. And then I realized, so not too much, but just a little bit. Well, a moderate amount of moisturizer. Let it dry, and then your liquid foundation will go on really, really well. But I forgot the other day. So we'll talk about foundation. Eyebrows are pretty simple. Keep them tidy. Sharp pencil and draw them on like that. Unfortunately, that one's a bit lower than that one for some reason. Put them on wrong. So lip pencil, mascara, which I used. See that? With that curling tong. And then your contouring lines here and here and here. And then usually use brighter powder here and less brighter powder here. That's basically what the video is going to be. Basic stuff. I'm not going to sort of, I'm very good to turn this face into female. but you're all different. So I don't know how to turn your face into female, but I can certainly give you some good pointers. Okay, I'm showing me bra strap there. So I did try and get some new underwear, but the stock was pretty terrible from about the only place that was open. So that'll have to wait as well. It's like a lot of things. It's a shame. Okay. Claire, hi. You do a great live show. No, some days, like last week, I thought went really, really well. Talking and talking, and it was fine. The comments were flying. The week before that, it felt a little bit forced and wasn't so good. And the first one was a little bit disjointed. I think tonight is a little bit. I had all my notes, but well, I end up talking and going off on tangents. So it's still in sort of proof of concept stage, really. I probably wouldn't have done 4, but the fact that I could. So we'll have a break now. I'll have a look back on it, see what I need to do. I think I need to be better prepared in the future. I think tonight's been a little bit more. I could have been better prepared, a little bit less this. I tend to repeat myself and all this, but I say thanks for sticking by me. And when I come back in a few weeks, I hope you'll make it a bit more professional. So not professional, but maybe Dan was right. Maybe I do need to shorten them a bit. But sometimes I enjoy it. Sometimes I enjoy talking to you. I enjoy your comments, and it goes that way. I try and keep it on topic. I wouldn't want to sort of get into a social club and we start talking about economics or politics or something. Certainly not. But there you go. Okay. But yeah, I think maybe I should be a bit extra prepared. But thanks, Claire. Thanks for the kind words. That's about it, I think. Unless you've got any more questions, we've been going just short of an hour. I mean, last week was a little bit different because we went for 2 hours and 20 minutes. So I wasn't sure if that was too long, but I enjoyed it. So, we got any more questions? Any more statements? Do you want me to flash something? And I was telling you last week that I didn't actually have any black underwear. Well, I do actually. Got these ones. There you go. That's got me in trouble before from other tea girls, and understandably. But then it gets me in trouble for not doing it because some of the admirers will then say, "Why aren't you flashing your bits and pieces?" So, don't mind. You can see my shoes if you want. I'll give you a view if we can. Hang on. I haven't got my hips in, so I won't have the female hourglass figure. It's not important if you're going out wearing baggy clothes or a big sort of coat like I wear. But you'll notice that my body shape isn't the same as a female. I'm out here, and then it goes down, whereas the female would go. There you go. That's it. There's one more for you. There you go. Okay. Dan, you look good, sweetie. Okay. Yeah. I didn't plan. Sometimes when I'm live streaming, I will go out. Oh, I would have been out before when I make a big sort of public effort. Today I just got ready for this. I haven't been out in girl mode today. Probably wouldn't go out now anyway because it's 9:30. I mean, if it was a normal Friday night in Liverpool, I would go out now. You know, I'd probably go for a walk round and be enough people and it'd be dark and I could fit in, so it'd be quite useful. But say probably the kind of people around in the town tonight, probably the kind of people I wouldn't want to bump into. So there you go. If there's no more comments, maybe we can make this a shorter one tonight. All right, Jade. It's okay. Don't worry. It's always recorded. I've just been talking. Yeah. Hi, Jade Crossdresser. Hi, sorry I'm late again. It's okay. It's always recorded. I know that for every, I mean, I think this kind of stream might get between 1,000 and 2,000 views recorded. And any one time there's about 10 to about 25 people. I know the viewing figures are a bit lower tonight because I haven't got the American audience. But so honestly, don't worry. Only about 1 in 100 people who watch this will actually watch it live anyway. I've just been talking about going out, you know, why you would want to go out, where you'd want to go, how I started to go out, and the places to go. Not much more, to be honest. Sort of spoke for about 30 minutes on that, which kind of boils down to probably avoid going around at midnight wearing silly clothes around the streets by yourself, and start slowly and take it from there. Looking forward to the next one. I think that might be maybe 3 or 4 weeks. I don't know. Certainly would want to give it a little bit of time now. I was thinking fortnightly to start, but I don't know. I think I've covered everything. I honestly do. From this point forward, I would be either repeating myself on the big stuff, or we could focus a bit more on smaller and smaller things. But I mean, I could do a live makeover. I could do that. You know, start off with foundation on, and then roughly show you. But that's what the how-to video for makeup's going to be. So there you go. Hi, Paul. Thanks for dropping by. Well, if have to go now. Okay, Jane. Yeah, I think we'll call it a day early. Call it early tonight. I think Saturdays looks like they're the best times, because the bigger the audience, the more comments that come in. The more comments that come in, the more I can talk. Whereas it's a bit difficult to, once I've said my piece, it's a bit difficult to kind of keep talking otherwise. Okay, Jane, have to go now. Thanks for a nice live clip. Hope to see you here soon. Night night from Sweden. Good night, love. Okay. Thanks, Claire. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Penny, if you're still there. Jeffers has gone. So if you've got any sort of requests, or if you want advice on anything, you know, you can write right now if you want, but for the future, so I can't bit, so I can sort of cover that and research it if I need to. I think last week we went a bit more into the sort of biomechanical differences between males and females. And, that's kind of roughly what I used to do for my living, so I know all about that. Right. Well, I think I'm going to say goodnight then. I suppose that's the 4th live stream, so we're now up to about 6 hours of me talking. I think I've covered everything 2 or 3 or 4 times, including saying I've covered everything 2 or 3 or 4 times. So I'll sit down, I'll have a think about it. So we've got the how-to video on makeup to come. We've got the general advice video, which is just general random bits of advice for the male to female granny, cross-dresser. And then we've got probably another live stream, maybe another month or 2, but I'll think about it, get some feedback off a couple of people, and then we'll see you soon. Okay, right, unless there's any more comments, otherwise I'm going to say goodnight. So hopefully I haven't, hopefully I can encourage at least one of you to get out the front door. Let's make that first step, because it is so worth it. If I didn't enjoy it, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't have been going out twice, 3 times a month for the last 12 or 13 years. And it's very difficult to put the girl back in the bottle once you've brought her out. So I can wish you all the best. All right, Claire. Good night from me and a good night from you. Was that it, 2 Ronnies? I think so. Okay. Right. Well, that's it. So watch out for a few videos in the near future. If you've got any suggestions as well, say, because I can do supermarket videos and till the cows come home. Maybe I need to sort of do some more summary stuff, show a bit more, because I do know I wear chunky jumpers and jackets a lot. That's because I go out more in the winter. I think trannies do tend to come out more in the winter for that reason. So because you can cover up, because you can cover up a male body shape with a coat, because you can cover up an Adam's apple with a high necked jumper. So summer is something I won't say I hibernate in the summer, but I don't go out as much. And you're wearing a woolly hat as well. And when it's 27, 28 degrees outside, it's not always that comfortable. So, okay. Anyway, I'm just talking for the sake of talking. So thank you again to everybody. 4 live streams in. I'll have a think about it. I'll come back and see if I can do something a bit more different, or take the best bits and dump the worst bits, and we'll take it from there. Okay. Right. I really am saying good night now. Good night.